So good morning, good morning, good morning. I like to think of Monday as Mindset Monday. So how are you feeling today? How was your weekend? I pray that you had an amazing, wonderful weekend. So, like a crazy person, as I am preparing for my retreat this weekend, which I'm so excited about, in a conference 2 weeks from now, I thought I want to paint my office. Because honestly, little things like that is my way of sometimes I have to disconnect my mind from everything that's happening as a way to relieve stress. It's my self-care. And most people's self-care is pampering, and I like that too. But for me, being a creative, my self-care oftentimes includes my expressing myself. And so this was a way I express myself. So this is my new office still in process. So, good morning to anyone who may be new to me. My name is Kenesha Berry. I am a mindset relationship life coach. Listen, here's the truth: everything we experience is built on a thought or belief. And here's the thing we have to understand: even your emotions are your thoughts in action. And so, this morning, I want to talk about a pretty heavy subject, but it was on my heart, on my mind. So, I thought, well, let's talk about it. Trusting again after betrayal. And I guess because of what's been going on in the news with Nina Long and her fiance, this came up, and as well as hanging out with some girlfriends. One of my friends who's married, she said she used to think if her husband cheated, her first reaction would be the marriage is over. She's like, now that I'm older and I really care for this person and I like him, I don't know if I want to start over. So in that moment, and that's um, precious moment, I shared with her that I've been there. Like years ago, when my husband and I first moved to the UAE, he was dating. And even though it wasn't a sexual affair, it was a betrayal. It was a emotional affair. And how do you overcome that? How do you trust again? First and foremost, I want to share with whoever may be watching it on the replay, or maybe catching it live. Betrayal happens to everyone. I know we like to think, oh no, it wouldn't ever happen to me. It happens to everyone. And the thing about betrayal, it doesn't just happen in relationships with like husband and wives, but you can betray your children. Your children can betray you. Betray you. You can many times, but it happens within friendships. So either way, betrayal is just a violation of your trust being broken, and losing that confidence in what you thought you knew for sure. It can be absolutely devastating. And I don't just say that as a coach, because I've definitely worked with women who have suffered through betrayal, but being a woman who suffered that, I remember feeling like my brain was broken. Like I remember feeling like my mind was distorted, because when you get betrayed in any way, whether, like I said, a friendship, um, whether it's a spouse, an affair, whatever type of affair, sexual, emotional, just anytime, all your confidence in something being the way it is shift or change, it shatters your brain. And the reason I say that is because you all of a sudden now everything that you knew and thought to be right and true in your life is questionable. Now you are going back in your mind into the past, and you're questioning everything. What did that happen? And what did you mean when you did that? And um, maybe during that time you really didn't care. So all of these things happen. And here's what I want people to know, particularly if you are a woman who has experience or are experiencing betrayal right now. I want you to know that it's not your fault. Like, you really got to get that. A lot of times, particularly when women are cheated on, we build these beliefs and these messages that it must be something wrong with me. Maybe if I was pretty enough, maybe if I gave him more attention, like all these false beliefs. It's not because of you. No person portrays you because of you. They portray you because of them, because they either their hurt, their pain, their character, whether they're a narcissist or they themselves are in so much discord, mental discord, that their only way of moving in life is to get validation from everything and everyone. So I think that's what's happening a lot of times when people are betrayed, particularly in relationships, in marriages. However, it doesn't matter how or why you portrayed. The thing is, now you are in this space. And what are you going to do? You cannot think your way out of this by yourself. You will need help. One of the best things I did was got on the phone and called a coach, because this woman helped me get these thoughts out of my head onto paper and into conversation. It took me through an emotional and mental phase where I could literally process what I was going through. And you will need that. So if you are going through betrayal, you need to process out what you're feeling. You can't just talk it out with your friends. And here's why: because in the midst of your trauma, in the midst of your dismay, your friends really think they're helping you. But what they do is they tend to dump more stuff on you. Girl, I knew he would do that. Or if it was me, I would do it. People, that's a statement I absolutely hate. If it was me, that is not helpful. It is absolutely not helpful. So what I'm saying is, if you are in that situation, seek help. Like, get someone who can help you process what you're feeling, create a safe space for you. There is nothing wrong with wanting to maintain a relationship or your marriage when someone hurts you. There's nothing wrong with that. Society will tell us to throw it all away. But then what happens is you throw it all away, and then you're walking around as this person who is sad, mad, broken. You don't trust anyone or anything. So I want to just give you a few things you can do to start your process. One, you're going to need language to communicate what's happening to you. Language for what's happening in your mind, language for what's happening in your heart. You just need language. You need someone to tell you or help you decipher what is going on with you, for you, through you. Because something happens when you have a word to communicate what you feel. Brene Brown, she calls language a portal. So imagine a portal from where you are to a place you want to be. But in order to get there, you need the words, the language, the information to help you get there. But you got to know how to communicate it. Communicate it to yourself, and communicate it to someone else. The other thing is, I when you're in this place of being portrayed, as hard as it's going to be, I want you to figure out a way, find time and space to notice who you are. Get mindful about what you do. Because what happened when I felt the betrayal, I felt obsessive. Like, I start rambling through drawers. I'm in the trunk of the car. It was ridiculous. Like, for me, and the way I move, I was like, this is ridiculous. I felt out of control. I felt like I could not. I felt almost like now I'm addicted to figuring this out. And that's when I really asked for help, because, and I think I was probably about less than a weekend before I decided, I need help with this. I can't do this by myself. I need help, because I was supposed to be homeschooling my children at that time, but I couldn't even focus. Good morning, Crown. Thank you for coming on. I couldn't even focus during that time because, like I said, when you feel that betrayal, it's like your mind breaks, your brain breaks. But I knew I needed help because I needed to be able to focus on my children. And one of the amazing tools that my coach gave me was the tool called, I think it's called dissociation, where you can dissociate yourself from what's actually happening. And you can do it for a small time. You don't have to do it forever, right? I know that in mental health, there are people who dissociate from their present moment, from everything they're going through. However, you can use this as a tool to, okay, I can dissociate myself from this thing for a moment so that I can be more powerful and more intentional about the thing that's happening to me right now. That was a great tool. Another tool that I learned during this time was the power of joy. So I call it the filling up your joy cup. My coach taught me this. When you can tap into something that brings you joy, when you're in the midst of this struggle or this pain, and listen, this works for any kind of pain. If you can find something that brings you joy, whether it's reading a book, watching a movie, going to a park, being in beautiful atmosphere. For me, it was going to this amazing park because I like beauty. It helped calm me, it helped me feel connected to God, it brought me to a mental state where I could finally kinda let it go, and I would go out there and journal. So journal is another way to process what you're feeling when you're going through this, when you're going through this time. The last thing I want you to know is if someone tells you to get over it, get away from them. Like, that's toxic advice. When you've been portrayed, because of the shifting and the hurting, because it makes you now question everything, it makes you question your existence, it makes you question your past, it makes you question like things that happened in your years ago or yesterday, or did this really happen? And now you're trying to figure out what is true and what's not true. The last thing you need is someone to tell you to get over it. But what I will tell you is if you're going to move forward in the relationship, you need a few things. You do have to forgive, but there's a processing in even forgiving someone who betrayed you if you decide to stay with this person. They have to be willing to be a part of the process. They have to stand up and take full responsibility for their action. And I'm sorry is not enough to make a person stay. They must begin to do the emotional work themselves to figure out why did they do this? What was it that they needed emotionally and mentally? And what made them go to that action? They have to do that work. If a person isn't willing to do that work and want to continue to stay in relationship with you, you are probably signing up to have this experience happen to you again. Because again, you are not the reason a person betrays you, because of the betrayal. You are not the reason. It's not because you weren't pretty enough, good enough, smart enough, cared enough, loved enough, it's none of that. It's their internal stuff and they have to deal with it. So if you're in a relationship with someone, whether it's a friendship, spouse, whatever, and you want to maintain a relationship, and listen, there's nothing wrong with wanting to maintain a relationship because sometimes it's a piece of the relationship, but it's not all of the relationship. It's a piece of the person, but it's not all of the person. And it's okay for you to celebrate the parts of them that are good and loving, and that's okay. But they must do the work to heal, to recover from what made them do this to themselves and to you. Secondly, you have to establish clear boundaries. It is okay for you to have a standard that must be met. It must be fully communicated. You have a right to put on this situation what it would take to require you to be safe. That is your right. And he or she, whoever portrays you, cannot question that, cannot make you feel like you're doing too much or you overreacting. No. Your emotions are your emotions. You must be responsible for them, but you must be also allow them to be honest because your feelings and your emotions will speak truth to you. However, until you heal those emotions, they will begin to then tell you that everybody is your enemy. Everybody is coming after you. Everybody wants to hurt you. Everybody wants to betray you. That is why it's so important to heal from being hurt in the past because you want to be able to move forward in friendships, relationships, work situations. Because until you heal that place of betrayal, you're going to think everybody is out to get you. And that is why you got to process what you're going through. You got to be able to separate. You got to know that this was an incident that happened with one person. But if you are the person where this keeps happening to you, this is calling from God to say there's an area in you that I want to heal because there's a part of you that thinks you're only worthy of people who will portray you, and you keep putting yourself in these situations because you want to establish boundaries. You won't have a standard. You don't trust, love, and believe in yourself enough to know that it's okay to do life alone. So you put yourself in these situations where you continue to find yourself betrayed. So listen, you have to do the work. I pray that this message has blessed you in some way. I pray that you get the help you need. If you're that sister on the other side of this camera and you're thinking, man, I have felt that. I am going through that right now. I can help you. Don't try to figure this out by yourself. And I'm sorry, your friends, they mean well. But if they don't have the ability to separate themselves from what you're going through, they will never be able to offer you good, loving advice from a perspective that honors you. Because so many times we love our friends, but they put themselves in our place. And the moment they say, if it was me, I would do, They just took your stuff and made it about them. And that is not a safe environment to be in. So I pray that this has helped you. Everything is about mindset shift. That is why I know you can heal this place in you. I can teach you how to shift your mind. You're thinking about it, process it first, and then shift so that you don't have to continue to walk through life not trusting. But you can begin to communicate what you think, need, and want to make things better for you. And if you're available, make sure you sign up for our conference, The Million Dollar Mindset. And you may think, well, what does that have to do with betrayal? Everything is a mindset shift, everything. And if you don't heal that space in you that where you felt betrayed, your business won't go where it should go. Your relationship, your other relationships will be affected. Who you are on your job will be affected. You got to get the work done. I pray this helps you. Pray it bless you. Please share it with a friend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Where's that? What was happening? What was happening? I'm live now.